Salutations everybody and welcome to our 7-year anniversary edition of Wrestling Showdown. Yes, we are celebrating our birthday. Thank you so much for being part of this, because it was December of 2014 that we began bringing you Wrestling Showdown every single week. We have been here through rain, hail, sunshine, sleet, snow and global pandemic. You name it, we've been here every single week bring you Wrestling Showdown. So thank you so much if you've been part of this journey, whether you've watched us regularly for 1 week, 2 weeks, 7 years, it doesn't matter as long as you've watched something. Thank you so much, because we're in the mood to celebrate. We're bringing you not one but 2 matches here this week. It is going to be a fantastic episode, and as much as I would love to have you here in the mobile studio celebrating in person, that's not really possible, but you can come and celebrate with us at the end of the year for our traditional post-Christmas spectaculars. Yes, December the 27th, 28th and 29th are the dates that you need to know. Tickets for those events are on sale right now. Of course, December the 27th, Wrestling Day, because of course you have Christmas Day, Boxing Day, then Wrestling Day. It is in Kinghorn. On December 28th, we are in Broxburn. December 29th, we are back in Galashiels. So that's 3 opportunities for you to see us do what we do best, bringing you live pro wrestling W3L style. And it happens at the end of the year. Again, get your tickets from our website ASAP. These are always packed events. Let's make them packed again. Don't be disappointed. Don't miss out. Get your tickets to them. More details about these coming up in the next few weeks. But ladies and gentlemen, let me thank our sponsor for these live events, Crafty Connoisseur. They sponsor all of our live events. They support us for a couple of years. Thank you so much to Team Crafty. If you're thinking about getting somebody a Christmas present, because it's nearly that time, if you like spirits, check out Crafty. They will send them out to you. You won't even have to leave your house. Check out craftyconnoisseur.co.uk for more details on that. Of course, if you want to sponsor one of these events or a future W3L event, get in touch. We'll tell you how we can make that happen. Now let's have the first of this week's matches, and let's put the Women's Championship on the line. Yes, Emily Hayden has had an iron grip around that belt for quite a while, and she is now at a stage where she is willing to face anybody for it. And some of the management have said, okay, let's do it. And they have been highly impressed by Rubi Roberts. She may lack experience, but she certainly has plenty of enthusiasm and a ton of potential. So, it's going to be Rubi Roberts challenging Emily Hayden. Which one of them will walk away as the W3L Women's Champion? Let's get down to ringside to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Forders here with you on Wrestling Showdown, the first of 2 matches we have for you on this 7th anniversary edition of this show. And the W3L Women's Championship is up for grabs. And your referee Chris Quinn just holding the championship aloft. There he is now. It's going to be Emily Hayden, Wrestle Beach as she's known, defending his newcomer Rubi Roberts, certainly a newcomer to W3L. Roberts debuted in late 2019 for our friends at Respect Pro Wrestling in Ayrshire in a match, weirdly enough, opposite Emily Hayden, and the two of them have fought numerous times, and that's part of the reason why W3L management have given Rubi Roberts the opportunity to challenge for the Women's Championship. And you heard the introduction. Hayden likes to proclaim that she is the greatest W3L Women's Champion of all time, and you can make certainly a strong claim for that, but she's now got to a stage where she doesn't think there's anyone that can really defeat her or give her, a strong challenge. So W3L management have just been basically hand selecting opponents for her, which she's totally fine with, because again she doesn't think there's anyone out there that can actually take the championship off her. And of course we saw at Wrestling 14, management handpicked Debbie Dahmer to come back and challenge for the title, and here they've chosen Rubi Roberts, somebody that has wrestled Emily Hayden a number of times, to provide this challenge. She certainly has the crowd on her side. There's Rubi Roberts, lacks experience of course, but again she knows Hayden. The X Factor will be on the floor, because as I'm sure Hayden kicks the bottom rope and has apparently hurt her ankle. There's Bobby Roberts rubbing it better. He and Hayden are now known as Unity. They've officially named their alliance, and you can bet he's going to stick his oar in whenever possible. Because Emily Hayden, she stuck her respective oar in just last month when Bobby Roberts was challenging Mike Moose for the heavyweight title in that street fight right here on Showdown. So the two of them do watch each other's backs, and as a consequence you really can't take your eye off the one on the floor, as Hayden knocks Roberts down with that shoulder block. She's quite proud of herself. Comes off the ropes, and a hip toss, and look, Rubi Roberts immediately for a cover. Emily Hayden rolls out the ring to break the momentum. Of course, this is the 7-year anniversary edition of Wrestling Showdown. And so if you look back over some of the stats, Emily Hayden made her Wrestling Showdown debut in the September of 2016, challenging, albeit unsuccessfully, for the Women's Championship. And there's a bit of strategy going on here. Bobby Roberts, incidentally, made his debut in the July of 2019. So we've not seen him quite as long. Oh, hang on. And Rubi Roberts being distracted by Bobby Roberts. Maybe some of her inexperience coming in there, but she ducked that clothesline and strikes with a couple of strong forearms. Obviously this is Rubi's Wrestling Showdown debut, but interestingly, the first W3L women's match on Wrestling Showdown was on week 4, which is the end of December of 2014, our first month. We saw Scotland's Carmel Jacob taking on Canada's Leah Von Dutch. Very well received match there, international flavour, kicking off Wrestling Showdown. As Emily Hayden's got handfuls of hair, and Hayden's become omnipresent on Wrestling Showdown over the past few years. We've seen her retain this championship. Obviously she has lost it, she's a 2-time champion, but she did win it back. We can forget the tag team contest when both the Women's Championship and the Heavyweight Championship were on the line. So Hayden lost that title. Just wrenching away on Rubi Roberts. And again, that familiarity means that they've got, I suppose, an advantage over each other in some respects, because they've got an idea of what each other can do. Hayden, though, because she's travelled around more, she's wrestled in England, she's wrestled in most companies in Scotland at some point, I would have thought, gives her that experience edge. So maybe she's got a few more tricks up her sleeve that maybe Rubi Roberts doesn't have as of yet. But then Roberts is still learning, and we she'll pull something out that Hayden's not expecting. I mean, if Hayden doesn't take her seriously, there's the old saying, familiarity breeds contempt. Just because they fought each other a lot doesn't mean that Hayden can underestimate her. And Rubi Roberts retaliates with that slap, and Hayden just grabbed her by the ankles. Roberts covering up, those punches are doing much damage, but I think Hayden was more embarrassed than anything else. Just a count of 2. and hung out to dry. And look where Emily Hayden threw her. Now Bobby Roberts getting involved, referee being distracted. And there's a cover. And I suppose sadly it's to Ruby's detriment, because she's new here in W3L, because it's her first ever time. She's not really made any alliances yet. She's not got somebody that can come out and watch her back and be at ringside to counteract what Bobby Roberts is doing, but I don't know if she needs it. I mean, she's been striking with these forearms. Hayden's down in the corner and runs right into her. Ruby's got the potential. She's certainly got the moveset. Pulls Hayden out the corner. But look at that. Foot placed on the ropes. Would Hayden have done that herself? I'm not sure. That's a little of that inexperience. The positioning maybe wasn't great. Ruby pulled it out of the corner, which was great, but not far enough away from the ropes. Oh, what's she going to go for here? And I think she's going to drop down, but saw it. Oh, and smacks them both. Well, quite rightly too. Ruby realising that you cannot win the match out on the floor. Throwing Hayden back in. And just getting time. Look at this Bobby up on the apron. And now he takes a forearm for his trouble, quite right as well. Now hang on, if he lays a finger this will be a disqualification. And now Hayden with a forearm may have caught in the throat. Hayden hoists her over her shoulders. What has she got in mind? And down she goes. Hayden for the cover. And gets the pinfall victory. Hayden retains that title, but I mean, Bobby Roberts, he was certainly complicit in this one. He certainly assisted her, aided her victory. Ruby Roberts had the match going her way a couple of times, but that distraction allowed Hayden to nail her right in the throat and slammed her down. Ruby Roberts, I'm sure you've not seen last of her here in W3L. She gave a hell of an account of herself, but these are hard odds to overcome. At least she's back up and standing. But just hang on, Hayden handing her title belt. Oh, she's not done! And just knocks down Ruby Roberts. The match is over. Hayden just trying to make a point, sending a message to any potential challengers that nobody is going to take this title away from Wrestle Beach.
Emily Hayden retains the W3L Women's Championship, but not without some assistance from Bobby Roberts. Now, of course, Hayden and Roberts call themselves Unity. They've been an alliance here in W3L over the past few months. We've seen them together on Banner with the Beach. We've seen Emily Hayden interfere when Bobby Roberts challenged Mike Moose for the Heavyweight Championship. They are obviously an alliance, and due to what happened, well, it's fair to say that Ruby Roberts was not best pleased. She gave it her all, but of course, at times it was a 2-on-1 handicap situation. She wasn't happy. W3L management weren't happy. So what they have decided to do is that on December the 28th in Broxburn, we will see both members of Unity team up to face Ruby Roberts and a partner of her choosing in a tag team contest. That is the first match we've announced for our post-Christmas Spectaculars. It's going to be Unity against Ruby Roberts and a partner of her choice, December 28th in Broxburn. More on those events in just a second. But again, make sure you get your tickets. Don't miss out on our 3 post-Christmas Spectacular events. Now, when you come to these events, you should be sporting an amazing W3L t-shirt. There's a bunch of fantastic designs. Go get one of those from our website. We'll send it out to you. You can wear it at the events live and show your support either for W3L, for a specific wrestler, or both if you so wish. Why not buy a load of t-shirts, bring them with you, and just wear whatever is appropriate for the wrestler in the ring? That makes sense, right? Then, of course, if you want to see some of our biggest events, then hey, check out the W3L box office, because it has some of the biggest events in W3L history up there available for you to watch, to rent, buy or binge your heart's content. Resolution 14 was released recently. We'll have another resolution on the horizon. More on that later on in the next few weeks. And more events coming your way on the W3L box office. Of course, DVDs available from our website as well. And speaking of our website, that's the place you can go to get your tickets and the like. You can find it at w3lwrestling.com. Make your purchases there and send them to the mailing list while you are at it. Give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us over on Instagram, and of course subscribe to this channel. 7 years worth of content, ladies and gentlemen, all here, all playlisted. Go check out the archives. It will keep you busy. It will tide you over if you've ever got spare time. So much amazing wrestling. Some of the biggest stars in wrestling today, not just in W3L, not just in Scottish wrestling, but in the world, have been in W3L. Check out the archives and you will see them in action. Of course, use that hashtag if you want to discuss this anniversary edition. Wish us happy birthday, why don't you? I mean, maybe a couple of days late, but it's a thought that counts. And of course, make your plans to come with us. Now, I mentioned those 3 events. December 27th in Kinghorn, December 28th in Broxburn, December 29th. Of course, in Galashiels, we've already announced a tag team match with Broxburn. Speaking of tag teams, here's one of the most popular tag teams in W3L history. You know who they are. They've maybe slightly different than they were back then. Taylor, Bryden, Euan, Mackie. They're going to be involved in all 3 of those post-Christmas events. Their matches will be announced nearer the time. But if you want a taste of what they can do, they're going to be in action here this week. In fact, right now. And they've got a tough task. Now, if you've seen Resolution 14, if you haven't got the boxes and watch it, you'll know that they took on Bobby Barrett, Keith Myatt in singles competition. Well, Myatt and Barrett, aka the old school, reckon that they're better together than apart. So, let's continue our celebrations here this week as we bring you tag team action. It's going to be Mackie and Bryden taking on the old school. This is going to get out of hand right away. You can just almost guarantee it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having been part of Wrestling Showdown over the past 7 years. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your continued support. Next week is year 8, can you believe? And some big changes are in the offing, that's all I'm going to say. So make sure you come back next week. But let's leave you with some tag team action as E.G. Mackie, Taylor Bryden take on the old school.
This is going to be a tag team contest that we've got to run for this duration. Let me introduce entering the ring. Team number 1. Please welcome Mr. Keith Myatt.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce here with the second match of the 7th anniversary edition of Wrestling Showdown. Tag team action for you. In the foreground on the right of the screen, it's the old school. The Rock and Roll Express, Bobby Barrett as he wants to be known these days, and Mr. Keith Myatt. Taking on, of course, Tier 0 Taylor Bryden and Captain Euan G. Mackie. We saw Bryden and Mackie in tag team match back in October against Bobby Roberts and King Sharp. And now they're facing the two men that they encountered at Resolution 14 albeit in singles matches. And this is, of course, the first time that the Old School have been up for the Worldwide Wrestling League. Barrett's been here numerous times, former heavyweight champion, of course, but Myatt made his W3L debut at Resolution 14, taking on that man there, Taylor Bryden, who eventually breaks. Well, Barrett faced Mackie, so it's 2 singles contests, and that led to this tag team match. And of course you can see Resolution 14 on the W3L box office. An all reversal by Bryden. Of course, Bryden and Mackie, fantastic tag team in W3L in the past. Of course, the Disco Biscuits young, well, that time has moved on, they've changed, they went their separate ways and have come back together. Whereas the Old School have been teaming up fairly regularly for a long, long time. Of course, Keith Myatt made his debut back in 1982, trained by John Wilkie. And his crew worked for Joint Promotions, and he faced all the top stars that were there, the likes of Dave Finlay, Rollerball Rock, and of course Big Daddy. So Myatt's been there and done that, of course, since his Barrett as well. And Myatt's wrestled regularly ever since, and I mean, it's in the family because his son Ryan wrestles, and they often team up together. There's even been a documentary made about Keith Myatt, which is pretty impressive stuff, I have to say. Of course, we've been talking some statistics as it pertains to the past 7 years of wrestling Showdown. Of course, this is obviously Myatt's Wrestling Showdown debut. Blondie Barrett's, or Bobby Barrett's these days, Wrestling Showdown debut, the June of 2015, confronting Nathan Reynolds. Is Myatt getting the better of Tier 0 there. That led to a match against Reynolds the following week. Of course, Barrett's been appearing on and off ever since. Looking up to his feet. A reversal by Taylor Bryden, and Myatt, there's those many years of experience, grabs the ropes. We've got another lock up, it seems, the fingers interlace. On a headbutt. So the thing about wrestling Myatt and Barrett is that they know every trick in the book, I think mainly because they wrote most of the book, quite frankly. Lovely cartwheel by Taylor Bryden. Reversal. Myatt rolls through, showing off his intelligence there. And gets drop kicked into the corner. And Barrett's seen enough. Down he goes with that hip toss. Now, interestingly, as there's a tag made, Mackie, his debut was on the second week of Wrestling Showdown in December of 2014 in a handicap match. Oh, hang on. Stereo drop kicks and the Old School take a seat. And there's an inflatable hammer being used. These are technically not foreign objects, they are legal in the W3L handbook, so you can use them. If you're a fan, you're at ringside, feel free to wail away on anyone that you don't like. Oh, hold on, the Old School have gained a third partner. Keith Myatt is trying to get a third man involved in the match, but I don't think it's going to happen, thankfully. It's Mackie biting at the hand of Barrett. Taylor Bryden's now found himself in completely the wrong corner. I'm not quite sure what's happening because they've now switched. They're about to get. Oh no, I thought we were going to get a tag. Bryden's now standing in what is not his corner. Mackie's trying to. Oh. Oh, and a kiss to the forehead of Bobby Barrett. And Mackie knocks him down. They're about to get a cover. Right, trying to get involved. Oh, and there's a tag. Well, the referee's allowing Bryden to change corners. I guess when it's the Old School involved, anything goes, right? Now here's an interesting stat, because Bryden's Wrestling Showdown debut was the June of 2015, which also happened to be the very first time we saw a tag team match on Showdown. Unbelievably, week 29. Yes, it took 29 weeks before we had a tag team match on Wrestling Showdown. It was all singles, there was a handicap, some triple threats, but never a tag. And Bryden wasn't involved in that tag team contest. Bryden debuted in that episode, but he turned up during some footage from a photo session during the intermission, and he effectively stole the tag team title. This was, as Maya gets hold there, this was part of the rise of the contingency plan. Brian had not been part of W3L for a while, and he returned at this juncture. Of course, a lot of water has gone under the bridge since then. Bryden now finding himself caught in the old school's corner. You see on their t-shirts, old school rules. Not only does that mean that the old school is better than anyone else, but also that the rules that they live by, that they perform their matches by, are completely theirs. Double teaming, cheating, Mackie going after Barrett with that inflatable hammer. Of course, we know the reign of terror that Barrett has caused over the years here in the Worldwide Wrestling League is, look, Mike distracts the referee, Bryden being choked on the ropes gets poked in the eye for his trouble. Mike claiming he's slightly hard of hearing, so as a consequence doesn't necessarily always obey the referee's commands as quickly as somebody else might. And Maya just put Bryden's ponytail over his head, I guess trying to remember what he looked like when he had hair. And let's not underestimate the old school. I mean, they are a hell of a tag team. They are two of the most experienced men in wrestling. I mean, literally in wrestling, all of it wrestling. And they're a very difficult team to beat. You see Barrett lowering his centre of gravity, Bryden backs him at the corner, tag is made, but I don't think the referee saw it. Maya, with those decades of experience, knew what was happening, distracted the referee. I mean, how can you overcome a team like this? They can read the match because they've seen it all, they've lived through it. I mean, Bobby Barrett, you want to talk about tag team wrestling, we all know, and it's been said a million times before, the former tag team partner of the legendary masked wrestler Kendo Nagasaki. You want to talk about an expert in tag team matches, that is Bobby Barrett. And I mean, he's virtually unbeatable in tag team matches, surely. The fan getting involved, and I mean, again, it's perfectly legal. And this child does not like Bobby Barrett, as Taylor Bryden's being throttled by Keith Myatt. And there's Stevie Wizard, I think, trying to get this enthusiastic fan to leave Barrett at least until the match is over anyway. And there's the tag. And here comes Captain Mackie. Think of all the changes Mackie has gone through from Wrestling Showdown's history. He started off as the leader of Sanctuary, with that group of freaks and weirdos that he used to lead. Remember when he used to bring the head of Francois Martin at ringside with him, that head in a cage? And of course he matured, he became Sasshole the Clown at one point, he was Mega Mackie Z. Of course now he is the Goblin of the Seas, Captain Euan G. Mackie. I don't think there's been anyone that's changed quite as many times over the past 7 years. And they collided, and Barrett, he's on Rubber Leg Street. And a picture says 1,000 words, ladies and gentlemen. And you've got to wonder, the winners of this match, whoever it is, are they looking at the tag team champions? Of course, TJ Rage and Craig are both still injured at the hands of the original Craig Stevens. Oh, ducks, and they collide, the old school collide. Will the winning team go for the tag titles when Rage and Craig are back? Oh, and they've made them kiss. Mackie and Bryden off the ropes. Oh, body presses. Both covering. And it's 2 pins. So Mackie and Bryden managed somehow to get the victory and overcome the cheating of the old school. Will this mean that Mackie and Bryden will continue on their hunt to become tag team champions? And what about the old school? Have we seen the last of them? I would doubt it. But for all their chicanery, for all their cheating, when they're complaining to the referee, well, no, they're complaining it was only a 2, it was definitely a 3. This is a very good referee we have.